So we've got some massive breaking news about the future of Dragon Ball Super coming right out of Japan. So today in Japan, this week, the Dragon Ball Super Broly Blu-ray and DVD comes out over there. Now obviously, if you're in the US or the UK or in Australia, it's already been out for a while for us here over here in the West, even though Australia's over on that side. But the Japanese just got theirs, and there was an interview with Akio Iyoku in the pamphlet that came with the book discussing the next Dragon Ball Super movie coming in the future. This is going to be a pretty surprising thing they would put it in this interview, and I'm going to give you all the breakdown of this whole story. Now, you might be wondering, who is Akio Iyoku? Akio Iyoku is the head of the Dragon Ball Room. The Dragon Ball Room was created by Shueisha 2 years ago, I think it was, to essentially get a group of writers together to work with Toriyama to basically shape and mold the future of Dragon Ball, whether it be video games, manga, etc., movies, just what they're going to be planning on doing. And Toei Animation also has their own room. Now, some of you guys are new to the channel, so you might not have missed all this coverage, but you know, a while back last year, I discussed how Toei Animation is very serious about expanding Dragon Ball into it being bigger than it's ever been before. With the success of Dragon Ball Super Broly and how much money it made in every single country it was in, whether it be US, Mexico, China, Japan, this thing made a killing. Obviously, that's going to once again solidify Toei's expansion ideas. And with the Dragon Ball Room, both the Toei Animation version, which does exist, they have their own room dedicated just to Dragon Ball. And people say Super's not coming back. Come on now. And this actually confirms it. And also, they have Shueisha's room. There's a lot of ideas going around about where Dragon Ball is going to go. So let's get to the translation. Akio Iyoku has been described as being the Toriyama's right-hand man. He is one of the few people who actively speaks to Toriyama. He's the guy who takes Toriyama's ideas, drafts, and presents them to Shueisha, who will eventually present them to Toei and, of course, Toyotaro and others, depending on, you know, what's happening and what the plans are. So Iyoku is probably the number 2 guy involved in Dragon Ball behind Toriyama. Toriyama's number 1, Iyoku's number 2. That's up for debate, but he is. So this is an interview with Akio Iyoku with Hayashida Norihiro, who is the producer, one of Dragon Ball Super Broly producers. And Iyoku says the following. He says, "We are steadily making preparations for the next Dragon Ball movie. Broly was excessively powerful, so we might think things will probably head in a completely different direction next time around. We raised the bar a lot with Broly, so we're trying to avoid becoming burnt out. I think Dragon Ball will continue from here on out, so we want you all to look forward to what's coming up next." Hayashida says, and by the way, we don't know the exact date of when this interview happened, but it hasn't been made public until now. Hayashida says, "There are a lot of things that we have come to see through raising the bar so much. This time we went so crazy on things such as staffing and casting that it made it even myself think that it would not be possible to get any better. But with this experience in hand, we will continue to aim even higher and higher." So what Hayashida is saying here is that Dragon Ball Super Broly was an overwhelming project, but now that they actually were able to get it done, now they feel more confident, is what he's saying, in where the movies will go and kind of how it's going to end up being. Iyoku says, "There are a bunch of things that we could not do this time, so I think whatever comes next will be even more incredible. Please look forward to it." So I'm going to kind of explain to you guys what that means, reading between the lines, okay? Basically, they had ideas for Dragon Ball Super Broly and concepts they could not use. Now, whether that's from Toriyama or just staffing concepts, I couldn't really tell you, but we know that there was a 3-hour script and that got cut down. So what Iyoku's saying is that with this next Dragon Ball movie, they're going to have more time, they're going to have more experience to make sure this time it's going to be even better than Dragon Ball Super Broly. Now, that remains to be seen. A couple things I want to point out to you. Number 1, this has nothing to do with the Dragon Ball Super anime, in the sense of the Dragon Ball Super anime, from what we understand, is still being worked on no matter what. That's a separate thing. The plan with the expansion of Dragon Ball is possibly to have the anime running at the same time as the movies, like what One Piece does and what Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z used to do back in the day. Now, I can't confirm that, but that appears to be the thing. Something else you want to be aware of: this next Dragon Ball movie is not coming out this year. Forget it. It ain't coming out 2019. Possibly 2020, more than likely 2021, based on the production schedules. What Iyoku is saying is they are making preparations. This is extreme pre-production. They probably don't have a script. They probably don't have anything but a very basic story outline. So understand that we may not see this film or this trailer until 2020 or 2021, or maybe even after that. I can't give you a date on it because I don't even think they know. This is just confirmation. All this is confirmation that there will be another Dragon Ball Super movie at some point, and that Dragon Ball Super, as I've been saying, will continue. Toei and Shueisha have invested way too much money in these Dragon Ball rooms for the series not to continue, and Akio Iyoku is about as legit as it gets because this is the dude who had lunch with Toriyama a week after the freaking Broly premiere. He had lunch with the man. He knows, if anybody knows what Toriyama's planning, it's him, but he's not going to tell us anything. We don't know what Toriyama's plans are for this film, but if it's going to be very different, he's saying that things will be heading in a completely different direction, so it could be a totally different kind of story. I wonder if this means they're going to do what they did with Broly and bring back an old villain. I know some of you guys are like, oh, are they going to canonize blah blah blah? I don't know. I mean, Toriyama at this point, after Broly was a thing, is impossible to predict. You can't predict what this man has planned. We could see complete madness in the future with Dragon Ball Super, but just to clarify, this will not affect the anime or the manga to my understanding at all. It's a separate project that will be down the road. They just know confidently now that they can get it done. So beware of misinformation. There's no plot outline. This is not Mortal. Just be really careful. This is 100% legit info, which I had actually heard about this, but I thought it was BS. It's funny because I heard about them planning another movie for a couple years down the road, but I was like, nah, that might not happen. I mean, I thought it could happen, but probably more like 5 years down the road. But no, it looks like they're already kind of making preparations for another theatrical motion picture for Dragon Ball. So again, like I said, this will not affect the anime, and this will not affect the manga or the video games either. It's just a new project that's very early in production. We don't really know much about it yet, but Akio Iyoku confirmed it, so there you go. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments what kind of movie you want to see, and give a thumbs up if you're excited for another Dragon Ball movie. I can't wait to see what they do after how good Broly was as far as how it looked and just the production of it. I'm very excited to see where they go from here. Thanks to Goresh for the translation, and thanks to Cypher for double checking it, and thanks to Dragon Ball Hype for sending it over to me this morning when I was at the doctor's office. It means a lot. Thank you guys for watching. Love you, and I'll talk to you real soon.